And hello, I'm the guy they call Chris Solo. Welcome to the place they call Fabled 42, where we allegedly build community through friendship, gaming, and chaos. You're watching Quests and Answers. You can catch us live every Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific here at twitch.tv/Fabled42. I just started drinking my chai today, so we'll get there. But before we get into today's episode, we're going to do some really quick announcements, do some panelist introductions, a few shameless plugs, and then dive into the Bard class, which I'm very excited about. Anything you see that's 3D printed in any of our streams is brought to you by Griffin Co. We are Vorpal powered. Our video and audio displays, player indicators, digital dice, zoom features on the battle map are all brought to you by Vorpal Board. I never messed that up before. That was fun. We do have a lot of other exciting things going on. As a lot of you know, we have Ooccador Con coming up next weekend. Lots of fun community games that I believe we're almost booked out. We have some really exciting panels and a lot of other fun streamed games for you all to enjoy that will all be leading up to the first episode on that Monday of Legends of Shalgal. Which we're all very excited about. I actually said it right, I don't know if we might be more excited about that.
You did.
But we have a lot of really cool and exciting things going on, a lot of giveaways that weekend, a lot of just really exciting things. But this couldn't have been done without all of your support, so go ahead and check out our Patreon. We have a lot of really cool perks. I believe we're doing the private Q&A with me for all Patreon subscribers on Saturday at...
You said 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
7.
See? Someone knew. Someone's paying attention.
We got you.
There's a lot going on this week. And I am currently tweaking the very first episode of Nafako and Eclipse, which coincidentally you both are here, for the first Session 0 episode of the Realms of Ooccador. So that's also very exciting. So you'll see how these two interesting cats, no pun intended, meet in the world. And we have some other really exciting things down the line as well. So go check out Patreon. You know, we love your support, and it helps us get all of these crazy things that are going on. What's coming up sooner is obviously Wizards of Ooccador. House Moonlander is after the show. We have the next episode of the Rollout on Wednesday, and after that is the next episode of Realms of Ooccador, which is the second episode of Rise of the Frost Maiden. I actually did forget the other special event that we're doing, which is tomorrow at 7 p.m., which is an unboxing of WizKids Rise of the Frost Maiden minis, which I already have a good chunk already right next to me. So when we start getting doubles, like big substantial doubles that I'm not going to use, I'm going to use those as giveaways. So stay tuned for that. It'll probably be an hour or so, and I'm doing another one on Thursday because the boxes that were supposed to be here today won't be here till Thursday. That's fun. So you guys get 2 unboxings. That's cool. But it all leads up to Friday, which is the first day of Gary Con Autumn Revel, which is the digital version of Gary Con, which is very exciting because we are partnered with Gary Con to help do a couple panels. We're doing, Jason, what are we doing?
Stuff.
Crafting Better Villains.
Crafting Better Villains.
Yeah, crafting better villains in that afternoon, and then later in the day at 6 p.m. Pacific, I will be playing in a game that will be dungeon mastered by Monty of Dungeon Dudes. Nate Taylor of Dwarven Forge will be there. We also will have a representative from Wizards of the Coast, and Luke Gygax himself will be in the game as well, which I'm very excited about. And it's a really fun game, and I hope you guys get to enjoy that. Yeah, that's enough about my crazy announcements. Very exciting stuff. So let's do some panelist introductions. We'll start with Diane and then wrap around to Ronan and with Jason.
Hey guys, I am Diane Hall. You can find me at the Pretty DM on Instagram and Twitter. I am here every Wednesday playing Kiwin for Realms of Ooccador. She is very cold right now, but cozying up next to her new companion, Elsgon, the Yeti. You can also find me starting on the 19th every Monday, DMing my own homebrew world. DMing my homebrew world, Legends of Shalgal. Very excited about that. Very excited about this weekend and next weekend. DMing 2 Fabled Femmes games, so you can catch that on the 16th and the 17th at a time in the afternoon.
Yeah,
Or
I have
So-
it. I have it
Don't know.
somewhere.
time zones are hard.
Yeah,
can also-
both of your Peace of Mind games are at 4 p.m. Pacific.
Cool.
70.
You can also find me being a villain in a villainous game. That's exciting. You can also look at our events page on our website because a lot going on.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Salamander. Ronan.
Hey, I am Ronan Fox. You can find me at Ronan Fox on Instagram. That's it. That's the only one. I play Thagan in the Wizards special in the only house that matters, Frostguard. And I don't know, I do a bunch of random things. And I'm also a writer of D&D inspired things. So that's what I do.
Hey, I'm Lizzie. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at the LizzieLD. I am on the Realms of Ooccador on Wednesday. I will be in the Heroes of Ooccador and Ooccador Con coming up. And I am Lily in the Wizards, and I'll be back next week for that with Eddie. Let's see, what else? I'm also a classically trained singer, and I have a lot of improv background, which I have mostly been able to channel through here for the past year since everything's been shut down. Very excited to talk about Bards today.
Yes.
Oh, I guess that's me now. Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
I'm Eddie. You can find me on all the various social medias at Discount Bard, and you can also find me on Twitch, where I am currently doing Halloween streams and all kinds of spooky game playthroughs and such like that. Beyond that, you can also find me here at my second home of Fable 42 on how many shows now? I've lost track at this point. But
I don't remember.
yeah, at least that many, yes. But no, it's I'm very excited to be here today. I am not classically trained, but I do have a musical theater background, and this has also been kind of one of my performance outlets that has been very exciting.
Hey, I'm Jason from Critical Dice. You can find me on Instagram at Critical Dice. And now I'm going to do the shameless plug. So, hey, I've got a Kickstarter going on right now for something called the Deck of Stories, which I happen to have a few copies right here. Very beautiful.
Oh, nice.
Gorgeous.
So
And
pretty.
Deck of Stories is basically a tool that helps you to create a legendary adventure in 15 minutes or less. And you can go back that right now on Kickstarter. Just search Deck of Stories, or maybe we can drop a link or something. We'd appreciate it. We funded in like 2 hours and then doubled it again then the first day. So it's going really well. And I can't wait to put this awesome tool in the hands of people everywhere. So go and do that. And or you can just, send me random messages on Instagram. Much to my dismay, I always respond. I think that's it.
I did find the link. I had it up and then I lost it, and then I have way too many tabs up, and every time I try to open a tab, I hit X instead of open. It's frustrating. You would
Wait,
think
you closed tabs?
you would think with 5 monitors I would have enough real estate to cover enough tabs, but apparently I
See,
don't.
That's the problem. It's like a goldfish or a shark. You expand to fill the space you're in.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I have more space. That means more tabs.
So as some of you know, we do have 2 more episodes in our little mini series for Wizards of Ooccador. After the completion of those 2 more episodes, each of these episodes are where all these players, after they finish the Arcane Trials, they merge into their house, where they meet their house leaders. They learn some things. They're tested a little bit, and they learn how to work with one another. The next mini series of the Wizards of Ooccador will be in November sometime, and it's essentially just a 3-part series where I will do 3 more subsequent games, but the next games will be a merged cast. So we'll take 2 people from Houselander, 2 people from Houselander, wow, 2 people from Moonlander, 2 people from Frostguard, and 2 people from Silverthorn in all 3 of those games, and we'll put them, and they'll be competing. So it'll be it doesn't really even out, so that some people might play twice. But essentially, it's kind of a point system. So that will be their sophomore year. So we're going to be completing their freshman year in the next 2 episodes. But that being said, the big surprise that I wanted to bring up to all of you, and I know we've hinted towards it down the line, but it's kind of in theme with what we're talking about today, which is Bards, the Bards class, which is funny because I've never played a Bard until I believe it was like Lizzie and Eddie had said, like, yeah, your personality is a Bard. I'm like, really? And then I read College of Eloquence. I'm like, yep, that's me, which I do play a Bard on Riverbreak. And I'm actually playing a version of Nyko and Roman put together in a Bard for this Friday's game, which we'll see what happens there. But I will be doing, at an undisclosed time, probably late spring, maybe summer, the Bards of Ooccador, as all 15 players of different Bard colleges will do essentially the same thing, storylines, and it's all intertwined. It's not just for fun. It's actually for story. It's for lore. So it'll be connected to the realms of Ooccador as the Wizards of Ooccador is now. So all that setting up this very fun conversation, which I'm sure we'll have many, many more. The chat is now open for questions, and I will start us off. So just make sure you tag myself, Fable42, in the Twitch chat, and I will pick up your questions and field them to our panelists. What is your favorite Bard class? Subclass. Or school, I guess. College words.
College subclass?
Chai.
It depends a little bit on party comp for me. One of the most fun that I've played is actually a Valor Bard, which doesn't get a whole lot of love, I don't think. But I was in a party with like I think 2 fighters, a barbarian, and something else, and that inspo to add, what is it? You add your inspo die to your damage, your attack damage. That was a whole lot of fun because I was like the key utility there for at least the first lower levels. So I like that one a lot.
Yeah, I'm kind of boring in some ways because I really love the College of Lore, which is kind of like, it's almost like the default setting in a way because it's one of the few original ones. But I love it so much because it really leans into the kind of philosophy I feel like is behind Bards, which is they're a jack of all trades. They have a feature called that.
Yeah.
But the Swiss Army knife, they're meant to be adaptable and versatile and to fill any party role, like Ronan was saying. And the lore college just doubles down on that and giving you proficiencies and magical secrets and all this kind of crazy stuff that really helps fill out to do really anything. I like that one a lot because there's something so, I think, underappreciated about skills in D&D that there's not a lot that can take your skills away from you, right? You can get into anti-magic zone. You can, have someone who's a better caster than you, someone who can overcome your AC. You can lose your weapons, but you wake up in an anti-magic dungeon or jail cell, you still have your skills and nothing can stop that. And so it allows you to be good at so many things. It's just a kind of a wonderful way to do that.
Yeah, mine's lore too.
I agree.
So, funny thing, the first Bard that I ever actually played in 5e was probably the one of the college that I had the most experience with, which is the College of Whispers, which I just kind of really enjoy that one a lot because it's very RP heavy, and it's also just nice to be able to just go, you know what, I have such a silver tongue that I'm just going to manipulate you.
Oh, I like it.
I mean, I'll also say, coming from 3.5 to 5e, I really liked lore because it gave you that flexibility to choose more skills. And that was something that's like one of the things I missed most about 3.5, having gone to 5e.
Oh wow, interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because I'm kind of on the fence. I mean, you all know when I DM or I play, like I overanalyze everything and really like dive in, but then I want to find something that fits. Not really the party, but me. right? So like I looked at lore for a really long time. I look at College of Swords for a really long time. But when I was building Nico, excuse me, the players keep calling me the wrong name, and I'm calling myself the wrong name, Nico. Then I read, the College of Eloquence, which is you're not music related. You don't sing, you don't play instruments, you don't do poems. You just talk, and you're very, convincing with your speech. And I was talking to you, Jason, wasn't I, about what I did to art. Now this leads to the other thing, because all the research I was doing for Bards makes us very very utility, and we have some really, really nasty combinations. So let me pitch my nasty combination that I did on the whim, which is funny, but because a College of Eloquence bard has you can use your bardic inspiration and cast unsettling words as a bonus action, and you roll a d8, and whatever you get, that creature has to subtract that number from its next saving throw. Most of your spells as a bard is a saving throw. So this encounter, which is terrible, and I still feel really bad, but I'm a Fearbold bard. Art, who is an amazing DM for River Break, had this encounter with these giant sharks, who I ran up and used my beast speech as a Fearbolg and said, "Run, there's shark hunters coming for you." And I succeeded, so they ran away. We swam across the water, and a roper showed up, grabbed us all, because we all failed our saves.
I remember this.
I did unsettling words. I rolled a 7 or an 8, and then I cast Polymorph and turned him into a goldfish. So it's nasty, and I kept reading so many different nasty combinations. Jason did some really nasty combinations for the mythical melee. I've seen Izzy do some really cool things with choice, and Lizzie do some really cool things with realms. So let's talk about like the nastiest combination that bards can do, because you can do so much, and if you do it in just the right way, it just like your mind just explodes with awesomeness.
The best, most overlooked one is to be able to get a 33 on your initiative roll.
That's
so
fair.
Here's how this works, and this works for all the bards. Because of, so let's say you max out your dexterity. Ronan just got it, yeah.
Yep.
You max out your dexterity, so that's a +5 to your initiative.
Mm-hmm.
And then your jack of all trades says anything you're not proficient in, you can add half your proficiency for it. So if you're at level 17 or higher, that's a 6. An initiative is not its own thing. It is a dexterity ability check, which will never have proficiency on it. Therefore, you get to add jack of all trades, and you get to add half that. So now you have a +8. Now let's go ahead and add the alert feat, which gives you a +5. That's 13. And if you get a crit, that's a 33 on your initiative. You get to go yesterday.
Yeah. That's pretty ridiculous. Yeah.
That's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
My son and I were doing the math the other day, and we were like,
It's pretty good.
There's worse ones out there, but that's fine.
That's a good one. I like that.
And, another one that I have is kind of similar to, well, I didn't turn them into a goldfish, but similar to what you did, Solo, being able to just completely avoid an encounter altogether. You start throwing some words of terror at someone, and suddenly they just think that you are the most horrifying thing ever, and will just completely avoid the fight altogether.
I mean, you did that with Art, and you weren't even a bard.
That's true.
Oh my god. Any other really cool combinations or things that you've
I
done?
can think of. I've always just used my bards as backing up the rest of the party. I've never been like super cool bard. I'm always just like, here's some inspiration. I'm gonna go heal someone.
You're just back there listening to him and healing people. I get it. It's cool.
Yeah, I
Very
mean,
chill.
exactly.
Yeah, it's very chill.
Exactly.
Well, the other thing that's nice is the when you get what's it called? I just said it a minute ago. Where you get secrets, where you can like pull
Magical
spells.
secrets.
Oh, yeah.
Secrets, yeah. Magical secrets is so great because you can just
Yeah.
get things from any spell
You
list.
can have any spell, pretty much.
Any spell, and so you get to pull out things that they don't expect. And you can do like 4 times if you're level 20. Like I did a lot of research for the mythical melee, so But yeah, like you can just like grab tidal wave from the druid thing, and you're just like, you know, just Moana that crap. And
Well,
but
That was Ariel's, right?
I
there
know
was too many
Yeah.
Disney
What
movies
was
that one. My brain.
And of course, leave it to all the bards to call him out on that.
I know.
Absolutely, we can't let that fly here.
Disney water princesses that are written by the same dudes, BT dubs.
Fair.
But yeah. So you just pull other spell lists and just go buck wilds and stuff. I think it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I say that's actually something that Lizzie, actually, you were a real inspiration on that. Just as a Cerise, just the number of things that you've pulled out that I was just like, wait, a bard can do that?
Yeah, they can really fill a lot of voids for
Yeah.
a party that doesn't have X, Y, or Z.
Do
You got one of
anything.
those.
Yeah.
They're really
yeah,
jack of all trades, you know?
Yeah.
Do anything.
Master of none better than a master of one.
And thank you for completing that phrase. Not enough people do.
Yes.
I got you.
We do have a question from the chat from Valrook. Favorite ridiculous bard story? I mean, I think I've already said mine. but
Like
that's
you mean
how-
like backstory or like
No, I
just
think
the thing I
just-
did with the bard.
I think just a thing you did with a bard.
I convinced the captain of a ship to make me helmsman,
Oh, that was so funny.
and I took
You
the
just-
dock with me.
You did.
You're welcome.
you charmed her.
You know what though? I'm going to change mine actually, because as much as I love my ridiculous bard story that I just shared, my ridiculous bard story is when Eddie took the time to rewrite a song and sing it. The Witcher one when he sang for the group. Like that was pretty.
Yep.
That was pretty dope.
I was pretty happy with that one, and that was I try really hard to do a lot of things on the fly. Admittedly, that one was a little bit premeditated because while I'm pretty good at improvising stuff, that would have been a bit much. But I was really proud of that moment. It was something I really wanted to be able to do for the group because I thought that was a really fun experience overall, and I thought, kind of like how the bard is the one who keeps the party going and keeps everyone uplifted. I really wanted to share that moment with everyone.
It actually brings up another good question that I have is, Izzy, you did it when you did your thing, and Lizzie, you've done several songs, some that you've sang in the game, and some that are now in Sirenscape forever for the world to hear. What are your all's takes? Like, not every bard does that, right? Like, I got one of these because I'm gonna start playing. No, I'm not. It just looks really pretty.
I should have brought mine out.
But what? There are different like play styles for bards, right? So like pros and cons to actually physically playing an instrument or singing a song or reciting a poem that you've prepped, or versus improving and singing something off the whim, or just not doing it at all. Like those like three different like bard styles.
I mean,
Preferences.
I think those. So, I will say that when I DM'd and I had a bard in my party, he secretly learned the ukulele, so that he could show up in game and then like sing a song that he had learned about that was like D&D themed, and Eddie rewriting the lyrics to the song, sticking with you. Like those moments really stick with you, and it doesn't have I think they're even more special if they are rare. But I think, whatever your bard specialty is, if you can bring it in that game, it's a big moment for all the other players, especially when you do keep it to those like special moments when it's like, the party's low or you're about to go into a big battle. So it's not like I'm stealing the spotlight every day by doing my song, but you're making this a big
spotlight.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of...
It's true. Yes, and there are moments when you absolutely
some
need to do
bards.
that.
I mean, honestly, one of the things that's kind of a bummer is that fact that people think they need that to be a bard,
Well, that's
and
the thing.
that'll sort of turn people off to the idea of becoming one. And it's
Yeah.
like they're not musically inclined necessarily; they're artistically inclined. So
Yeah.
there's
They're
a wide range of things you can
entertainers.
do. Yes,
Well,
exactly.
Well, I was actually going to say, similarly so, another thing that I feel like often is kind of a turnoff to bards is that I feel like a lot of times they get kind of a bad rap. There's definitely a stereotype associated with bards that,
Right.
a lot of people don't necessarily want to portray that kind of a character because there's some negative associations with it. But there's so much flexibility and potential with the class. It doesn't always have to be so linear and just typecast and just there's only one way to play a bard. No, there's a
and
million
it's
different ways you could do it.
And it's often to get so hard typecast too. I mean, like barbarian. I mean, every class has its own
Every
sort of
class
typecast,
has been
but for some
typecasted,
reason,
yeah.
bard really like it's almost like you have to do it that way, or it's wrong somehow. And it's like, no, that's not the case at all.
No.
Yeah, I agree. Like,
No.
like the thing that you're kind of dancing around is basically the bard trying to talk everything that moves out of his pants or dress, and it's just like I've literally never played a bard that way, but that's just how I am. But also too, I think the other problem is, I have other things I want to say about that, but I'm not. Okay, the other problem is that in previous editions they sucked mechanically. They were really hard to do. Like, so
Yeah.
I was joking. My son brought me my second edition handbook, and not only is that picture part of the problem. Maybe you're into this.
I don't see what's the issue with that. I think it's cool.
No,
Solid.
not me.
Star Spangled
come
Banner
on.
right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a modern fashion choice right there.
That's okay. No, that would be great cosplay. I'm into it. But like, to be a bard, you had to have a dexterity of 12, an intelligence of 13, and a charisma of 15. You had to satisfy all of those things. And it wasn't that you were kind of good at everything. It was that you kind of sucked at all things. And they didn't even put it in 4th edition. They called it the Warlord instead. Like, I knew what it was. Like, I see you. You got a
Kind of glad I skipped 4 now.
Yeah, but like they did the same kind of mechanically.
I actually did like Warlord.
Yeah, Warlord was great.
Yeah.
They wanted people to like it, I feel like, and so they just called it something different, and no one noticed, or you didn't notice right away. And then with 4th, I feel like they fixed it, and almost like they've overcompensated. So like it kind of is one of the best classes in the game because maybe they're paying recompense. They feel bad for how they treated the poor bard in previous editions, because like it's a kind of martially decent character that can heal as well and gets 9th level spells. Like, come on, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wish, Gate, come on. Right?
Case in point, not to keep pointing the finger at Lizzie, but again, the reason why I wanted to play one in the first place, it was like, wait, holy crap, a bard can do that.
Yes, cast Wish, change the fate of the world. It's fun. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Like the bard getting a bad rap. The first DM I ever had, who incidentally Chris met at Ooccador Con last year. He actually, like when I first joined, I was like, "Hey, can I be a bard?" And he'd had so many bad experiences with how people wanted to play a bard. He would just said no. And then it wasn't until like 4 or 5 years later playing with me when he just shut it down so hard that I even was like, "Oh, I've always wanted to play a bard, but I know you don't like them." And he's like, "Actually, no, you can play a bard. I will let you play a bard."
Yes, you.
And that bard actually wasn't even a singing bard, it was a dancing bard, which was kind of fun.
See, I like that. You don't have to be able to sing. I can't sing.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely not.
My bard that I loved so much was a deep gnome lore bard who just told crazy stories about his hometown and loved mushrooms a little bit too much and just wanted to help everyone that he met. He was really great, and he just told stories. Like, that was literally... And he played bagpipes very badly.
See, my first bard was sort of inspired by Doc Holliday. More specifically Val Kilmer. But he was just sort of the life of the party, right? So he didn't really provide anything. He was just the person you wanted to be around during the party. So he was just that very charismatic individual. So no singing, no dancing. He was just a character that was dying and in for the good ride.
What's kind of funny is that this actual conversation right here actually just reminds me of a conversation I had with my roommate earlier today, which is, yes, even outside of the mechanics within D&D, there are just so many different variants on what it is that defines a bard in the first place. They could be a theatrical performer, they could be a singer, they could be a poetry reader, they could be a historian, they could be a documentarian. There's a million different ways that you could be a bard. It's not all just encompassed into one type. But the one thing that all bards have in common, they're all storytellers.
Yeah. What's your medium? Yeah.
DMs are all bards.
Yes.
All D&D players are bards, I guess, then. We're all storytellers.
I'm very excited to see 5 bards in one game. That might be... My brain might melt. I don't know.
I think everyone's brain's going to melt at it. That's like dividing by 0.
It will be chaos, friendship, and gaming.
Yeah.
It's all right there.
Yes.
Diane,
Just 5 only children in a room.
Oh, jeez.
What?
little children. Diane, you just broke my brain. Like, you did it. Bard is the meta class.
Yeah.
The people who like to weave stories and pretend and persuade, that's all D&D players. The Bard is the meta class. Oh my gosh.
What if you played a bard that just wanted to tell a story with their friends and play some games?
Have you considered we should all play?
They had a dice set. They have to have a dice set, obviously.
Wait a minute, accidentally famous? I was just telling a story with my friends. I wasn't trying to get the spotlight. I wasn't trying to get hordes and hordes of crowds and audience and all that. How'd that happen?
But since you're here, let me sing you a song.
Yeah, exactly. So many good bard conversations and this is the nature of it, right? We've done a few of these different class conversations. We've all had almost more serious, very, very like stats and statistics and like, yeah, this is how, wizards are and this is barbarians. But we're all just like relaxed, we're laughing, we're telling stories. Like just talking about bards just kind of brings the octave down several levels.
Well, I think that's the nature of bards, is you can make your bard however you want.
Yeah.
There is no focus, so it's scattered. It's all over the place, and it is what every individual wants it to be. So,
Right. I mean, especially with the way 5th edition designs it, with like borrowing from other classes, there's so much customization that comes with it.
Right.
So continuing the conversation, so technically my first bard that I've ever made, it was Styx. He was a bard lock, so he was partially bard, partially warlock, goblin who played the bagpipes, and he was an asshole. And anytime that he sang, it would be like really, and I would love to do the things, and it was just about being inspiring you by being annoying. I think that was the goal. So I know Izzy was also a bard lock, but let's talk about some fun multi-classing with bards.
Well, I guess since you mentioned me by name, I could probably jump onto that wagon. So that's one of the things that I really enjoyed about playing Izzy the Bard Lock, was that on top of everything else, he was a changeling. So that made it so that he had a lot of flexibility in terms of what he was able to do, in terms of how he carried himself, how he presented himself and such like that. And the main theme that I always had going on with him is that, for those of you who don't know, Izzy was a heavy metal inspired bard warlock whose patron was the Undying Ozzy, and he carried his magical patron weapon, which was his magical axe that he played on. So the main theme that I always carried between him is that he always had this contrasting dynamic between what he was trying to do. Whenever he was doing something that was more bardic and inspiration related, it was always very hair metal, very high up here and all this stuff. And whenever he would start getting into more of his aggressive warlock magics and such like that, that's when he went down here. He went to the dark metal. And it was just so fun being able to just play that dichotomy constantly and just bouncing between the two.
So much.
yeah,
Plus, he
that's
also, got into a lot of trouble as a changeling. He convinced a guard to let them out of a cage at one point and all kinds of crazy stuff.
That's amazing.
This question has made me realize, despite having played many characters, I've actually never multi-classed.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't
No.
multi-classed a whole bunch, but I've never multi-classed a bard. I don't know, bards.
Again, it just sort of goes into what you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
how you want to play him. You can do the. I've done Warlock before. I've not done many others, but I would assume Rogue would be a good fit. It seems
That
like it
was
would
my
be.
first thought was Rogue. I think a Rogue Bard could be cool.
Yeah,
I feel
Yeah,
like that's one that also thematically makes sense too.
sure.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, they're cousins basically, and as far as class goes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
because that's how D&D 5th edition kind of does things. They give you, in the spellcasters they have a pure spellcaster and then the more martial version of it.
Yeah.
So like there's the druid and then there's the ranger. There's and that kind of stuff. And with the rogue, it's like the magical cousin is then going to be your bard. But I was just looking in my D&D Beyond, and I have 85 characters in there, and I just searched bard. 20% of them are bards. But to Ronan's point, yeah, I know I have a problem. I pay for all those too. But to Ronan's point, not a single one of them was multi-classed, and I think maybe because it's because they're so versatile to start out with. What are you hoping to get? Just pick a college and you're kind of doing it anyway, So I can see that. I would like to see, honestly, like maybe Bard, College of Swords or Valor, along with like a Paladin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, because
more casting ability.
Yeah, more
Same
casting
for
ability. You get the smites. So you can do
that stereotype.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Paladin.
Like, Paladins don't have to have a stick up their butt anymore. Like they don't
Right.
lose their powers.
Paladin with
when
a
they hang out with
talent.
Yeah, but like let's go this way. What if they're monastic, right? So what if it's like the Gregorian chants, though? Right? So they're already musical, they're already religious, and then maybe they're they trained how to be a holy knight because of something that happened.
Yeah.
So it'd be really
feel
easy
my
to do.
inspiration.
Yes, be blessed, my child. Demons out. Okay, now, but also, I cracked myself with that one. Okay, but so you've got the simpatico with the charisma spellcasting. Now you've got even more armor. You got a fighting style. You can add what is it? College of Swords that lets you kind of spend not flourishes. Well, yeah. Flourishes, I guess.
Yep, that's what they're called.
Yeah. So you can get improved Divine Smite plus cast a smite, and then also add a flourish to it, and you could easily just wreck a fool with that, and you get the extra attack stuff. So that'd be pretty rad, I think, actually.
Now that you're saying that, I mean, because
not to be all min-maxer, but
no, I mean, and that's kind of the thing is like, are you trying to min-max? Are you trying to get the most out of your bard? Are you just trying to go for flavor? Like if I'm a paladin and I'm going to take most of my stuff in paladin or vice versa, and I'm a leader, I'm not very big on the holy stuff, but I'm more like I have a mission. I'm trying to do something.
joined by cause, yeah.
Joined by
Like
cause.
how Eddie played Saiyan, for example.
Yes. You could have gave Saiyan could have taken some levels in Bard and College of Eloquence, for example, or Whispers, or even Lore. Like it would give you those leadership things, because then when you do like Banishing Smite, because you can do that when you hit them, right? That's not a bonus action.
Yes.
So that means your bonus action is Unsettling Words, and then they take a -7 to that Banishing Smite, and then they're gone. Like that's nasty, right? I'm a big fan of Unsettling Words, obviously. But
now that I've read on Eloquence, I kind of want to play an Eloquence part now.
it's amazing.
Yeah. The unsettling word is moist.
Correct.
But when you're thinking about that though, it is because bards get so much awesome stuff. If you subclass or if you multi-class rather, you're watering down yourself. So you have to do it for very, very specific reasons.
Yeah,
Like,
and-
I see the warlock because you can make your weapon or your instrument be your pack weapon and it's gone, which means if you get thrown in jail, then you can get your weapon back. You get the invocations because you get Devil's Sight is nasty. There's other things that you can do. There's nothing more nasty than having Devil's Sight and casting darkness and just going ham. Like that's really nasty for anybody to do that. So
It's also
it makes sense.
also just nice in general. I mean, even what Jason was saying with the Paladin. I mean, with the Warlock and the Bard, with the Paladin and the Bard, they're both charisma-based classes, so you're already a leg up there in and of itself.
Yeah, and there's a balance though too, like you guys both said, is that it's not about like how can I make the most broken character, though that is in my search history, but the idea is that what's a compelling story, and what's a great kind of concept for a character, but then also looking at the mechanic side and go, okay, how can I make this also fun to play from a mechanic standpoint and not justify its existence, but what unique things do I get to do with this that help him or her stick around as long as possible because I want to play this character. So there's a fine balance, and it's one I think a lot of people, including myself, try to struggle with.
I'm a fan of going just flavor-wise. I don't think I've ever min-maxed a character, except for my mythical melee character, because obviously
that's when you do that.
But
Yeah.
Min-max that for sure, but outside of that, I'm usually pretty flavor-oriented in terms of how I build my characters.
and that's why Keelan has a -1 in Dex. So
Yeah.
So yeah, we have a few minutes left, about 15 or so, before we gotta call it for the break and then get ready for Wizards. Chat, if you have any other questions for any of our panelists, please go ahead and throw them out there. But also, any other questions for anyone here? Do you have questions of, why character choices or anything Bard related that any of the players have done in any of the games? Like Lizzie in Realms, Eddie in Choice, Jason in Mythical Melee.
Wait, what was the question? I totally wasn't looking at chat.
I just think Lizzie's Bard is perfect.
Just any questions specifically for any of the 4 players who've played a Bard in any show that we've seen, anyway.
Yeah, actually, I would love to hear Lizzie talk more on Cerise.
Well, Cerise is my precious baby. What is there something specific, like playing her, how I made character choice, like?
I mean, like, I guess let's just say, like, one, what was the inspiration for her, and what made you decide to play her the way that you did?
Okay, so the way I make a lot of my characters, and this is partially coming from my improv background, is trying not to have too many holes filled when I start. Like, I know some people love writing like long, rich backstory, but that is not really how I like to approach my characters most of the time. Sometimes for Nafako, there's a lot more that went into her than 8 pages and she has amnesia. It's hilarious.
She has amnesia.
So anyway, but for Cerise, like, I got chosen to do this from playing Ooccador Con with a lot of the Realms folk. So this all came together very quickly. And she was partially inspired by the previous Bard that I played, who was also a Fey Bard. I was like, they're in the Fey. I'll play a Fey Bard. I wanted to play a Bard because I was like doing musical improv classes and I wanted to like flex that skill. And I don't know. Cerise drew a lot from my own personality, I think. It's just sort of fun playing some, like, I guess I feel like the Fae have like a childlike quality, so I sort of drew that. Yeah. I really hate the horny bard stereotype. Like, I just really, it's not how I play it. So, like, on some levels, I think I was intentionally going like the far opposite. Like, she has not had her first kiss yet. She is a baby. She,
And in no way does Fable 42 support the outlandish remarks about tieflings being bards. That's not what we're talking about.
What?
With horny bards?
Oh.
Never mind.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
I get it now.
Okay,
I didn't get it at first.
But I really enjoyed that, actually. And there was a few moments that that Lizzie let me kind of run with her character,
Yeah, so I remember a lot of her backstory came together after the first episode. Cerise?
No, what's her...
Nafaka?
No, Cerise's lady's name.
Oh.
Totally blanking. Leah.
Yes,
Leah.
Leah.
Yeah,
Leah.
I think it starts with an L. Too
Yes.
many characters.
Yes, too many.
To get that romance, though. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it enriches the story whenever you can collaborate with your DM just to make it sort of your own, but both of your own story. You know what I mean?
It was refreshing as a DM anyway, because it's so far on the other side of the spectrum of what a typical bard is, where it felt really genuine, pure, fun, and fan favorite for sure.
It was non-stereotypical and just and just fun and just like refreshing was a good word.
Hmm.
My
Jason.
dad joke really killed the mood. I apologize.
Oh no, it's okay. Yeah.
We were just like, what?
I got a question for Jason.
Oh,
All right, what's up?
Question for Jason.
So in the Q&A before Mythical Melee, you said that you had prepared binders and all that sort of stuff. How much of that move was predetermined and you were just waiting for the exact set of circumstances to arise, and how much of it was completely improv off the cuff?
Like my flow charts of stuff. Well, yeah. So here's the thing. It's like the Captain Cold in the Flash, right? You make a plan, you execute the plan goes wrong, you throw out the plan, right? I had the thing I did plan was getting rid of the druid. So I knew the druid was going to be a problem. I just like 20th level druids, no, like there's not a good strategy, because and you kept seeing it over and over in a lot of the games where if they knew what they were doing, it was like, no. And so I was just like, basically, my first move was to do mislead, which makes me invisible and makes an illusory double, hide out and wait for the druid to show himself.
That's what you did?
That was so ridiculous.
What is he doing?
When I caught on, I caught on the cues, and I was like, oh shit, he's right behind him. And I was like, no.
Yeah, and then he backed into my position in the corner.
It was amazing.
And then I was like, great. So is his head sticking out? Or they're like, yeah, head sticking out. Great. And so I used one of my magical secrets, and I cast anti-magic field and turned off all magic, including his wild shape, which says in the first sentence a magical effect, and trapped him in his stupid, dumb human body. And then we all killed him, which that was totally my plan. And the other plans I had were things like, so you saw some other people do this too, is the reason I named my character Simon is for Canterbury Tales, Simon the Summoner. And I had the Elemental Gem to summon the Water Elemental. I had summon Greater Demon from Magical Secrets, and a couple other things where it's like, I'm just going to add chaos to the field and get out of here. But the Invisible Archer of Doom threw all that into just disarray. And I think I tipped my hand that I had a good idea and a plan too early, because he was basically hunting for me the entire time. And because I made a mistake and I didn't choose Greater Invisibility, where I could actually do things and be invisible, it kind of really hampered my thing. But I actually had like all these other things I wanted to do. I even had a list of insults that I wanted to do.
There's the bard part right there.
Yeah. And I'm actually looking for some of them now, but
insults. Yeah.
Only insults.
Same thing for my bard.
I have a book that I got at the Globe in London of Shakespearean insults that I use for my bard.
Nice.
You can like mix and match. It's fantastic.
Keep it classy.
What is it? It's like every Shakespearean insult is basically 3 parts.
Yeah.
That.
It has 3 parts. Yeah, I'll have to put a picture of it on the.
Please do.
Oh, I found my insults. You guys want to hear them?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Your
No.
grand strategy isn't going like you planned. I'm sorry. Should I be using smaller words so you can understand?
That's good.
Your bark is worse than your bite. That's an easy call, but it's your filthy breath that's the worst of all. Look at you, a barbarian, like we should all be in shock. You're so full of crap, you need a laxative just to talk.
That's a good one. I want to steal that one.
It's pointless to have another insult for me to spout, because you'll be dead before you figure it out. And there's some other ones in here. Dude, I had a list of like polymorph options and shape change options, what to do about rangers, range fighters, melee fighters. Oh man, I love this thing.
You know, a lot of us had some pretty rich plans for Mythical Melee.
Oh yeah, some of the
Poor Eddie.
You talked to me about them. Yeah.
Poor Eddie.
That's the thing is, some people who had the best laid plans didn't make it, and then some people had 0 plan.
And then one, but being
did it
goblins.
almost to the very end. Like me, I had not 1 ounce of a plan but to kill the druid.
You know, I'm trying not to be salty, and it's not at my game actually. It's at Josh, because I had to change games with Josh, and I totally would have won that game, or at least it would have been me and April, with I'm going down, I'm popping up, she's going down, she's popping up, and then see who ends last. We wouldn't have been force caged and then just watch me die. But when the other two melee fighters, one had to leave, you know, and the other one was just hiding, and I'm like, oh my god, it's one barbarian versus two wizards, a dragon, and something else. I'm like, this isn't fun and fair. I want to fight a bard. At least it'll be entertaining. Like, when I can't hit something.
You say that as if the bard is not secretly the most powerful caster.
I know he is, but at least it's funny. It's not just like, I'm a hiding wizard, and then pew, and I'm like, I can't
You
do
say
anything.
that like the bard's not the one who shape changed into the dragon.
That would have still been fun.
Yeah, whatever. My guy's still drooling somewhere.
Oh my god.
Shit. What happened to yours, Ronan?
We're having a very lovely tea party,
You got
thank you.
feeble-
I got feeble-minded.
Oh, no,
Second
you're fine. It's only
in the
30.
second
Oh, that's
round.
right.
No, he got feeble-minded and he got plane shifted.
Mhm.
So,
Oh,
you know,
that's right. They joined the Void
Yep.
Walker.
So I'm not
we're both
convinced
just
that's
hanging
cool.
out having tea.
Yep.
Yeah,
That was such an abrupt fight. It was
That
just
was crazy.
like after all of those that went like 5, 6, 7 hours, and then yours was done in 2.5.
Yeah, we barely
Yeah.
made it break.
insane.
Gosh,
It's amazing.
fixing the curve, I guess. But bards.
But bards.
So I think we have time for like one more good question, and we'll get some answers from everybody. What is your favorite bard spell?
All spells are bard spells.
Well,
That's
Pick a
true.
spell. Any spell.
I'm gonna say it before someone
Man, I
else
don't even
does,
know.
but Vicious Mockery.
It is
I
a good
mean-
spell.
Yeah, it's classic.
Mm-hmm.
Vicious Mockery,
The-
it's classic. And then you can crack open your Shakespearean insults book.
It's just, as a spell itself, it's so utility. There's so many different good uses for it, but even besides that, it's just fun.
It is.
I like it.
And how you use it's fun too.
Mhm.
It's like in a response type situation.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's really good. I'm going to say heat metal
Ooh.
because
Bard
Heat metal
Yeah.
is an
Yeah.
underappreciated
It is.
spell.
You can get really creative with that spell.
Now,
Oh
Eddie,
man, yeah.
ask a question just as a way of making a point. What's the saving throw for heat metal?
I don't remember.
I'm looking
off
up
the
right
top of
There's
my head.
not one.
Really?
It just
Yeah, I
has,
was
Right.
like,
you only have to do a save to keep holding on to something that's been heated up. But if you use it on their metal armor, according to the DMG, it takes several minutes to take it off. So, and
Yeah.
you also have to keep concentrating on it, but there's no range. You could just cook somebody and leave, like go out for drinks and come back and you're
Meanwhile, we played at the tavern.
half on 7 castle. Yeah, it's like, so heat metal is one of my favorite because it's just, like you said, underappreciated. Like I keep reading it thinking I missed something. Like it can't be this good.
What are some other ones like that? What's some other good spells you've used as a bard?
I opened up Cerise. I'm like, what?
I mean,
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm having the problem that Lizzie was mentioning because all spells are bard spells. So I have to look back and go, wait, is it a bard spell or did I just steal that? Because
I mean,
Like
I
True
totally-
Polymorph is a bard spell, right? Only.
Yes.
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
yeah.
That's a good one.
My favorite one that I stole is a paladin 5th level spell. Because it's something that a paladin should get at the end of their turn. Like time, it's very powerful, but Destructive Wave is a really good one to steal because it does 5d6 radiant or necrotic damage plus 5d6. What is it? Thunder? Yeah, and you get to choose who is affected by it, and it's a radius of 30 feet. It's a good
Well,
one. Also, Wish, other favorite one to steal.
Yeah, which is great.
Or Wish is great.
I actually just thought of another one, but I'll let the people who haven't gone yet go.
Yeah, go.
That's fine. Go ahead.
I mean,
Everyone's
people
looking
are
at their spells right now.
good.
Well,
Eddie hit it.
Well, the one I was gonna say is one that got used a lot in Realm Season 1, which is Foresight.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
a good one.
Foresight's
Animate Object is another fun one. I loved my bit with Cerise, especially at the beginning, where I was like buying toys whenever we stopped at a shot in preparation for when I was going to drop this spell.
Those were great, though.
I was just like, it's funnier if you don't know why I'm buying these. And then, Solo let me get it off once, and then they counterspelled it every other time it happened, and that was fair. Who wants to deal with all those?
I mean, I also rolled to see
Shiny
if I was
toys.
going to do that, but yes, it was.
You did.
It did.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Attack my tiny minions.
I did enjoy it.
Face my army!
I don't have an agenda against people summoning things at all.
No DM would. Why would a DM have an agenda against that?
GW,
You're only
ears
okay
are
with-
ringing.
Yes, you're only okay with it if it's bats.
I want people to summon things. I'm just like, I don't want to have to deal with all of this.
No.
It's a lot. It really, especially for shows. Like, without going down that thing, like summoning
you're
things in a show, your initiative order just quadrupled. Like, it's really long.
I remember the one time I did get it off, I just kept apologizing the entire time. I'm like, I'm so sorry I did this. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, just summon things that explode and you're fine. You should also look at glibness.
I was
Glibness is
just about
good.
to say that, Jason.
Diane, take it away. It's all you.
I'm
Goodness.
rereading it to see.
It makes you even more bardy than bard.
Yeah, it. So any charisma check that you make, you can replace the number you rolled with a 15. That's insane. When you make a charisma check. Additionally, no matter what you say, magic that would determine if you're telling the truth indicates you are being truthful. So you can
Solid.
lie your pants off, and no one would know the difference.
And it lasts
would've-
an hour, and it's not a concentration spell.
That would have been the
Yeah.
loophole for Oriana.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, glibness was a plus 30 in 3.5.
Dude,
bluff.
yes.
You know, I'm kind of a fan of polymorph personally, and mass polymorph at 9th level is pretty ridiculous.
No.
And you pick the one person who you think that is going to succeed, and you do the unsettling words to them. But actually looking at these spells, I don't know. It seems like it's a new one, but Psychic Scream.
Yes.
That sounds like that sounds like an Izzy 9th level spell right there.
That's
looks
Xanathar's.
On a failed save, the target takes 14d6.
And is stunned.
Yeah.
And is stunned.
And is
Oh.
stunned, yeah.
Utility spell, legend lore. Use that a lot in realms. I mean, especially if you love getting the lore from your DM.
Yeah.
Tell me the things. Tell me
They
your
did really
plot.
good.
Get ready for
lot
a
of-
load drop. Here we are.
They have a ton of good RP spells, like almost strictly RP.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All the power word spells are pretty cool.
But had a blast. The hour always flies by when we sit here and talk about all things D&D. So everybody who's listening in the chat, you know where to catch all these amazing people. I did just post. Let me see if I can post one more time. Jason's Kickstarter. Go ahead and click that link. Get yourself your own deck of stories. We're going to go and turn this stream off here in a second and then start the hold screen for Wizards of Ooccador, and then we're going to get ready for that for House Moonlander. Go ahead and enter Moist in the chat
Oh, no.
for the Between Show giveaway. That is
I apologize.
Moist.
I'm sorry.
Sorry,
I'm so
Wolf.
sorry.
He's gonna unsubscribe for real. Watch out.
No, he's not. Chad, I sent you a shirt, by the way. Yes. So go ahead and enter that in the chat for the Between Show giveaway, and we will see you guys in 30 minutes with the next episode of Wizards of Ooccador.
The chat's just filling up with moist.
You broke it, Jason. You broke it, Jason.
Oh, God.